This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Fire Island and spawning as the Cyan Empire in the bottom left position. We do have H2O Kiro, or Kiro, I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that, who doesn't apparently waypoint his barracks, but in the northeast position you know him as the blue allied player LiCtor. Also from Team H2O, which means this will be an H2O team kill, but we'll have to see which one of these players will be killing their teammate. Will it be Kiro, aka Japan, aka Light? He goes by about 47 different names, so you probably know him by one of those. I mean, maybe, or you don't know him. Are we actually going to be seeing a naval yard out of LiCtor? Normally that's why you see the engineers heading to the back there. Not a super uncommon opener, but a little bit uncommon out of LiCtor there. Not a big deal, though, but we will have at least one of these refineries get capped, possibly both of them, by Japan. So he's going to be liking that quite a bit, especially if he gets the cash back on both of those. Then he'll be like, okay, you built 2 engineers and riptides, and in compensation for that, you will be getting 15 credits every 2 seconds until you actually earn your money back, which will take quite a while indeed. But we do have a standard dual refinery opener followed up by that Mecha Bay. It's not going to be 3 refinery before Mecha Bay or anything silly like that, so some Tengus on the way may help to deal with these, whatever they're called, riptides. Wow, I just could not remember that. The Javelin Trooper wants to jump inside because, of course, after you drop off the engineer, he can hop right back up inside and swing around, see if he can poke in, do some damage with that riptide. However, we do have Imperial Warriors going to be scouting this. A couple of them need to sit around over here until the Tengus arrive to hold off those engineers and make sure that they don't grab that oil derrick. However, one oil derrick has been grabbed by LiCtor, so he's already got one. He's going to be pulling back. He doesn't want to engage all of those Imperial Warriors, as there is quite a few of them here. However, he will get some nice shots off here, and actually the burst drones might be getting in on the action. Another riptide going to be showing up here. However, Javelin Trooper should be able to snipe down this burst drone. Does get the kill on it, which means no detonations, and nice inside there by LiCtor, going to be picking up all of his infantry. I mean, all of the Peacekeepers know that LiCtor's got the micro to keep his infantry alive from that bonsai charge. Look at that, just running around those Imperial Warriors in a hilarious fashion. LiCtor, actually, do we have an Imperial Warrior? Oh, for a second I thought he was pausing an Imperial Warrior just before it popped out. So as the engineer pops out to capture the oil derrick, you just pop out the engineer, or pop out the Imperial Warrior, switch him to the bonsai charge, and fortunately, if you're lucky, you get... Oh, we have an immediate tier 2 out by Japan. If you're lucky, you get the kill on the engineer. That is not what is happening. However, we do have a successful capture there by LiCtor. He is going to be going for that 3rd refinery, dropping down the multi-gunner turret. Definitely a good idea, cryocopter, but rather Chopper VX and Tengu Harass can be quite annoying to deal with. However, it does look like we have a couple of tsunami tanks moving up on the front lines, going to be able to take down this oil derrick without too much trouble, while on the other side we do have a Dojo Corps going to be moving out to recap that. Airfield is down for LiCtor, and the follow-up is going to be an additional power plant before that 4th refinery. And there goes the oil derrick. Does LiCtor have anything to deal with these tsunami tanks? Because in the past, we have seen allied players try to play the air game against Empire and against a tier 2 Empire with those tsunami tanks, especially if they're good at spamming out that F key, activating those nano deflectors, and really making sure that their tsunami tanks actually stay alive. It can be very difficult to deal with that. The laser lock going to be following through. However, he will get the kill on the barracks. Unfortunate for Kiro, but he will be able to get the kill on maybe one of these riptides. They're going to be trying to pull away 2-0. Not able to get the kill on that. However, it does look like he got it pretty low, which means he'll have to pull back for repairs. LiCtor won't be able to really re-engage with that riptide anytime soon. Do we have an additional Dojo Corps moving out? No, not yet. He is just going to be going for the kill on that oil derrick, not looking to get any more real money out of that. I don't know if LiCtor was actually able to, but we do have the dual airfield right off the bat. This can be a very dangerous thing to do, because if you don't have the ground army to really contend the Empire player, you can be in a sticky situation. However, we'll have to see with cryocopters, which there are none yet, but with cryocopters, can LiCtor break through Kiro's defense and really do some serious damage? The MCV is going to be repositioning here as we do have him possibly going for an expansion, but he might be going for a turret push. I'm kind of nervous to say a turret push. We do have the third refinery now out. However, a couple of Tengus are going to be getting a nice surround on the Apollo, not able to do enough damage as all of the Vindicators do pull back. It won't be a turret push, at least not just yet. The MCV is in a nice position to go ahead and move forward in a bit later. But for now, it's not going to be. The Tsunami tanks are going to be pulling around to the far side of that refinery. A good move there by Japan, as we have nice multi-gunner turrets in many locations around the map, going to be able to deal with a lot of this harassment and really just scare things away. And with those nano deflectors, it won't be quite enough to deal with this. However, where are the Apollos? They're nowhere in sight as we get the kill on 4 of those those Tengus, getting the kill on 4 of those Vindicators. LiCtor with a huge misstep there. He got one of the Tsunami tanks, and he was kind of able to save his expansion, but really it was just a delay on that expansion, going to be selling off that refinery. LiCtor in a very tough position. We do have 4 Apollos out. No cryocopters are on the field. No Vindicators are on the field. Kiro, can he end it right now? Just go and snipe down at least a power plant. However, we do have the Riptides going to be moving out, and the Vindicator is now out. However, with those point defense drones, can we do any real damage? LiCtor is going to be hard-pressed to do any real damage. However, with the Apollos in the air, it means that he won't be able to really transform to safety, and Kiro going to decide to just go ahead and pull back. Even with the nanoflectors, he likely won't be able to escape the next bombing run from the Vindicators. We'll have to see if they actually hit it up in time. However, the Chopper VX is lagging a little bit behind these Tengus. They don't want to necessarily engage. However, we do have a snipe, 1 complete kill by those Apollos flying right over those Chopper VXs. The Strikers are going to be doing a lot of damage, transforming for to try and dodge the Vindicator bombs, but was it actually worth it? He does escape, it looks like. However, the Tengus and the Apollos trying to engage. Snipe on the Harvester is going to be absolutely nice there, but the counter snipe on that Tsunami tank, and where are the Apollos now? They're not in position to deal with these, and just as they show up, so do the Tengus, going to be sniping down one of the Vindicators quite perfectly there. However, the Riptide has gone down. The second Riptide is desperately trying to chase down those Chopper VXs. The Vindicator showing up at a bit too late. However, it does look like the Apollos are going to be rolling up just at the wrong time to kill that one Striker VX. The other 2 Striker VXs will escape, and both of these players doing quite crazy amounts of damage. However, this Peacekeeper, if he can catch up, is he actually fully heroic? He is indeed. If he can catch up to that Striker, he may be able to get the last shot off. However, that Vindicator is going to be, dropping some bombs for a complete miss there, but the Apollo is there to finish it off. 2 Strikers do go down there, but, the Apollo does escape! That almost would have been worth it, 2 Strikers for an Apollo, but instead it was 2 Strikers with no Apollo. How are you doing this with no cryocopters? I have no idea how LiCtor is actually in this game. The refinery is now back online, as we do have 4 refineries currently finished for Japan. I should really decide what I'm going to call them instead of trying to switch between names, but we do have that 3 refinery, not quite 4 refinery just yet. Cryo Shot does fire off, will get the kill on that Harvester. Didn't even need to bother about trying to use that stop micro, no need at all. Going to be able to take down that Harvester without too many problems. The Apollos, I'm guessing, just out for a scout. Otherwise, it would have just been a bad rally point, but he should have spotted that 4th refinery. He'll know that he's on a little bit behind, but now he will be on equal economic footing with our Empire player, Kiro. However, this attack force, it really does depend, because the Apollos here could be tanking huge amounts of damage and just get annihilated by the Strikers. But if they do transform into those choppers, then the Apollos could be doing absolutely insane amounts of damage and really even things up for one of these players. It may very well be that whoever wins this battle wins the game, as we have the stronger ground force, but the stronger ground force does not necessarily mean that LiCtor is out of this, as we do have just 1 Vindicator. He doesn't have a lot of firepower, but he does have some pretty good base defenses. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't followed up with an armor facility. He's really wanting to make this airfield play work, but of course these point defense drones making it very difficult for that to happen. For Refinery Empire, of course, a very powerful combo. However, it does look like the seaport is going to be out on the field, which means possibly some hydrofoils, not necessarily for their anti-air, although that would be nice, but more of for their weapon jamming ability. That is really what is going to be doing a huge amount of damage, and of course not direct damage, but removing those. Oh, snipes down that Vindicator immediately. However, the Apollo is going to be getting the kill on one of those Tengus. The rest of them do get pulled back. However, the Riptide left out in the cold. A mistake there for LiCtor, leaving that Riptide out. But again, Kiro seems to have that advantage with that actual ground army as he loses another Tengu there. Sells off a couple of walls there to escape. The Harvester won't actually need to. Could have maybe, it would have been tight with the multi-gunner turret there. Are we seeing this? Yes, indeed we are. I actually just froze for a second. That was like assault destroyers. I did not see that one coming, but hey, I was talking about a ground army. LiCtor is like, hey, you don't want a ground army? I will deliver on a ground army. We'll have to see if any of these tsunami tanks end up getting crushed by these assault destroyers, especially. Actually, I mean, with some cryo beam shrinkage, we could see some pretty serious. Oh, catching one Tengu out, a second one could go down. No, they will be able to transform to safety, but with some cryocopter shrinkage, we could be seeing a lot of these tsunami tanks going down. We'll have to see. LiCtor seems like adamant not to build any cryocopters. Normally, you don't see an allied player go 2 minutes without a cryocopter, just about. That is a bit of an exaggeration, but just about. And we do have a little bit of an army infantry transition for both of these players, as we do have javelin troopers added on for, this is actually going to be a Riptide strike. It could be, but with this many chopper VXs, Riptides can be dealt with very easily. Kiro forming up his army. This is so many assault destroyers. This is like what Zlex did, but a little bit more crazy on the assault destroyers. And of course, this is not the build order that Zlex did, but Zlex, you gotta hand it to him. He made assault destroyers work, and LiCtor's like, hey, you know what? I can do that also. Assault destroyers, javelin troopers, this is an army to deal with. And LiCtor is in such a strong defensive position with those Apollos right at home base, with those multi-gunner turrets, that Kiro is hard-pressed to be the aggressive one. And as you can see, he's juking around the map. He's desperately trying to find that sweet spot that'll let him engage effectively, because he's playing it out smart. He's not throwing away any sort of advantages. If he's getting up close and, oh, caught out on the water, could be dangerous for these Chopper VXs. They do have those point defense drones, which is exactly what he needs. The Cryoblast does fire off. One Apollo, two Apollos do go down. Rough there as two Apollos being eliminated, meaning that these choppers and these Tengus will have a much easier time. One more Tengu does go down. Two Tengus eliminated, as a fully heroic Apollo will be able to escape here. But really, can you engage directly? It's going to come so much down to the position. The tsunami tanks on the front line could actually be getting caught out of position. Kiro, pull back or engage. Make up your mind. But either way, you gotta do something. As the assault destroyers on the front line, the Stropper VXs are going to be tanking some damage. One of them will be getting eliminated. However, it looks like fully on the retreat. The tank busters with the backup. A great concave here by Kiro, as he is going to be able to do huge amounts of damage. But the javelin troopers are here. They're mostly attacking the tank busters, which is not what he wants, and LiCtor's front line absolutely decimated here. He goes on the offensive, and Kiro smashes him down, but suddenly the tank busters annihilating absolutely everything, and those nano deflectors actually being used in mass, and it actually ended up working out as LiCtor in that last engagement there just completely obliterated. His army wiped off of the face of the map, as Kiro has done huge amounts of damage, playing this out oh so smart, and now he's cleaning up that refinery, the armor facility, too little too late, as we do have actually the snipe of one of those tsunami tanks, and actually another tsunami tank going down here. This attack may very well be getting cleaned up. The tank busters on the back end of this may be able to snipe down the Mirage tank, but really going for that armor facility, definitely a good idea, as the tsunami tank's getting eliminated there, but the Chopper VX is also being eliminated. And now, actually, the armor facility will not go down. Combination of those Mirage tanks and even the multi-gunner turret doing its part to deal with that attack. LiCtor has held his army completely annihilated. His economics ripped apart, as even the multi-gunner turret, which was here earlier in the game, is no longer present, and the single brave Chopper VX in the back of LiCtor's base, desperately trying to do something. He will just have to sacrifice himself and do a kind of ridiculous amount of damage to that oil derrick. Do we have a 5th refinery? We do indeed. Out of Kiro. He's looking to establish himself a little bit more stably, economically. Both players have taken huge losses. That last engagement may be the signal that we need some Wave Force artillery. King Oni's could also work, but really some Wave Force artillery. The Tier 3, it has not happened yet, and it may be too late as we don't have, I guess, enough cash. King Oni, never mind, it already happened. The King Oni is out on the map. Very rough here as we do have Kiro. He's got very limited resources. Very, very limited resources. And King Oni, they are very good. Very powerful, can do a huge amount of damage. But the infantry of LiCtor, are they going to be able to deal with that King Oni? Because, of course, the Bull Rush can be used to great effect. We've seen that in the past. I have also seen many a Bull Rush that basically miss completely and do almost nothing at all, which would mean that these infantry get lots of shots off on those King Onis. And LiCtor, has he spotted this refinery? If he could have sniped down the core, that would have been great for him. But for now, Kiro needs to just hold on, sit back. 3 King Onis are out on the map, and now the cryocopter coming into effect. But suddenly, this Mirage tank's going to be getting the snipe on a couple of those barracks. Really, those barracks weren't important at all. Kiro did have to spend money on them. But when you're up a refinery, you can afford to spend a little bit of money here and there. As, of course, LiCtor, the longer this game goes on, where he does not have that 5th refinery. And keep in mind that Kiro was able to do a fair amount of economic damage over the course of this game. I don't know if it necessarily equals out with the unit losses that Kiro has suffered over the course of this game. And dual Mecha Bay all the way. That is exactly what he's going to be doing. 4 King Onis. And this could be the last push for Kiro, because he may very, very well be able to just smash down. Although we do have a very fast Riptide heading out across the map, he may very well be able to smash down Kiro and eliminate him. Going to be freezing down that refinery, will allow him to take it out quite efficiently. But Chopper VXs, the danger of no Tengus. Will get the sell-off there. A nice move by Kiro. Wave Force artillery now out on the field. However, if these things simply get shrunk down, frozen, and eliminated... Oh, Cryo, get in! And forcing the sell-off. Nice pickups here. Really nice pickups. Eliminating 2 refineries and escaping with that Apollo as well. I thought he was going to be losing that Apollo, and it's like, okay, he lost 2 refineries. He did get a kill, but oh, wait, he didn't get a kill. Does lose both of those refineries. And really, LiCtor was just like, oh, poke in, do a little bit of damage, instantly pull back, no losses. Took some damage, will get the repairs though. He's going to be in fine position. And really, these King Onis, they would have been absolutely insane before the cryocopters were out. And oh, this refinery will get caught out. No, it will not. I thought for a second those cryocopters were going for that refinery core, but they were not. They were going for the shrinks on those King Onis. You got to be careful. Once your units get shrunk down, they move a lot quicker, and then suddenly they can get caught out of position. They can get eliminated easily. And a good allied player like LiCtor will definitely take advantage of that. Oh, and the Wave Force artillery on the front line is not going to be getting eliminated there. Kiro not able to get any shots off. I'm not sure how far you have to let a Wave Force artillery charge before it one-shots a Mirage tank, but it's not quite a full blast. I think it's about half blast before you end up can just snipe down and just one-shot a Mirage tank, which would be beautiful. Some really nice snipes here out of Kiro could definitely change this game, because right now, somehow LiCtor has sort of engineered himself back into a position where he's got a shot with these infantry, with these Mirage tanks. He's in good enough numbers in combination with the cryocopters. All of these forces working together with some great control, with some great micro. LiCtor can come out ahead against this just overwhelming army of Kiro. But Kiro, if he's allowed to just sort of move in, if the Wave Force artillery are able to just get shots off from the back while the King Onis are just tanking damage, he may very well just be eliminating the entire army of LiCtor. But these two players desperately jockeying for position, and oh, another refinery going down. We still have no Tengus. Kiro, not learning from his mistakes, is not going to have any Tengus to deal with this, but more importantly, the Apollos, with them being that close, Tengus just would not be as effective as he needs. He can't just like get one Tengu back. Hey, I got one Tengu, let's call it a day. Shrinking down, that Harvester just to get it away to safety. The Tsunami tank will be getting eliminated here, and really there's no easy way to, there's no like one unit way to deal with this Apollo. When you got the 4 Apollos there, if he wouldn't have cut Tengu production earlier in the game, he would have had something. As right there, we do have the Mirage tanks going to be engaging on the rear end of this army and deciding not to just turn and fight, as all of the King Onis have been shrunk down. With those King Onis shrunk down, these Mirage tanks will eat them up. Kiro has no choice but to try and wait it out. However, it's going to be re-shrinking, as now the Mirage tanks have cornered them, and Kiro can't really do anything, but he has to do something. He has to force an engagement, even if he doesn't want to, as we do have the King Onis going to be rushing through, crushing a couple of these infantry, and they will maybe escape here, as the Athena cannons getting some shots off, but they weren't able to do enough damage. The King Onis largely able to escape. And yeah, now behind in the cryocopter numbers. He doesn't have enough anti-air to deal with this many cryocopters. A single cryocopter broken off to make sure that he keeps these guys frozen. Is he just going to be, yeah, he has no Vindicator, so he's just going to have to go ahead and bring his army forward. And Wave Force Artillery going down. Some nice pickups here by LiCtor, losing another refinery, but he's doing a pretty good job of keeping on top of his opponent's refineries with 6 cryocopters. Man, you need so many Tengus. So many Tengus with point defense drones. I don't know, well, how many Tengus would you need to take out the 4 Apollos? Like 6 Tengus with point defense drones, maybe 7 to deal with the Apollos, and then suddenly it's like, oh, well, your cryocopters are now pretty much worthless. But of course, once you get behind that arms race, once you get behind in that arms race, it can be very, very hard to pick up. Couple more of these Tsunami tanks swinging around the side. I mean, you gotta applaud Kiro just for giving it a try, but really, if it doesn't work once, and you're not providing a diversion for those Tsunami tanks, then it's probably not going to work. It's probably, just as a heads up, probably not going to work. Without any naval yard, without any sea wings to really deal with that, the water expansion just cannot happen for Kiro. He's already lost 2. This unscouted expansion, you gotta hand it to Kiro, sneaking that by, and LiCtor has not scouted it, which is a huge advantage for Kiro. LiCtor must be thinking, like, how does he have so much money? He could actually go ahead and sell off one of these mecha bays. I'm not sure if he can afford to produce off of it. Might want to go ahead and rally in that Harvester as well. The Harvester will really just absorb some damage. He needs to make sure that he doesn't lose those Tengus. However, oh, the Athena can, oh, the Cryo-Bugetin going to be forcing this engagement. The Mirage tanks waiting for these units to walk right into their midst, and the Cryocopters rushing in with the brilliant traits there as LiCtor is eliminating that ground army. But in the air, he has taken some serious damage. However, that Cryo-Bugetin forcing this army into freezing status. Suddenly, that entire army is gone, and scouting in the north, in that northwest corner of the island, that units tab right at the end there, that Cryo-Bugetin sealing the deal. LiCtor, he knows when to use it. He doesn't necessarily use it directly on the army, but he's like, well, you're gonna have to either engage into my line of like 50 Mirage tanks, or you're gonna have to get frozen. And Kiro was just like, yeah, no, I will take the losing option. So his entire army got crushed in that one engagement, and then after that, no comeback. Technically 1,000 more resources, 900 for Kiro, but in the end, just wasn't enough. I mean, 1,000 doesn't even really make a difference. First half of the game, Kiro seemed like he was just dominating. Nice harassment, staying active, and then that second half, somehow with just 2 airfields, he was able to hold it off. And then he tried the Assault Destroyer thing, totally got owned from the Assault Destroyers, just totally got destroyed. And then he's like, okay, maybe I'll just go Mirage tanks, because those are actually good units. Even the Black Hole armor wasn't quite enough, but as you can see, even completely economically. And then at the end, Kiro just a little bit ahead, but in the end, pretty even game overall. Kiro definitely having it in his grasp, and then suddenly LiCtor hitting back, and then Kiro reasserting his dominance in that game and almost taking the game back for the win. And then suddenly 6 Cryocopters, no Tengus. You get behind in that arms race, it's hard to come back. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. This is Sybert signing out.